What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Dontavious, aka DT, and now we have our 2023 outdoor season recap. This is the part two version of my season recaps of the year. So we're just gonna go ahead and get started. So first meet of the year for the outdoor season was the Auburn home meet. It was directly after indoor NCAA, so I barely had any rest. I just went straight into competition because I really wanted to compete at the home meet because it was my last home meet as an Auburn Tiger. So I really wanted to compete there and win in my final meet, which I ended up doing. I ended up finishing first place. I jumped 7 feet and a half, had my family in the building, my frat brothers and a few friends that came out to watch. After I cleared 7 feet and a half, 215, I went up to 224, 7'4" and a quarter to attempt a new personal best because I was feeling really good. Also, keep in mind, I was using a new approach because after indoors, I decided I wanted to change my approach. I talked to my coach about it, and we worked on it for like 2 or 3 days. But I still didn't know if I wanted to use it in the competition, but I ended up using it anyways, and I jumped extremely well off of it and almost PR'd at 7'4" and a quarter. Moving forward, we had FSU relays after that. So we went to FSU. It was my second meet of the season. I still hadn't taken a break since indoors. I wanted to keep jumping. Uh, Ended up going out there. I was feeling okay. I wasn't feeling fantastic. I was just like, okay, this is my second meet on my new approach. I went to measure out my approach during the comp, and it was actually a Thursday meet. We usually compete on Friday, Saturday. I went to measure my approach, and when I measured it, I was back in the grass. So I was like, man, okay, I'm in the grass, no big deal. And it was like a slanted hill. Ended up PRing that day at 7'4" and a quarter, 2.24 meters, which is the coolest thing. Like it was so out of the blue. Like it was, it was just a crazy thing because I was on a new approach, second meet jumping on it. I was in the grass and I was on a slanted downhill. So it was just the most unorthodox conditions and things that you know, and ended up doing extremely well. It was a very emotional moment after such a tough indoors. I got an interview after. I was ranked number one in the country at the time, and it was just a great thing. Me and my coach was excited for it. I had my girlfriend was there, and it was just, I had a lot of support, and it was just a beautiful thing. And one of my favorite moments of my high jump career, clearing that 7'4", I laid on the ground and cried after. Like, it was just so great. Moving forward, went to Texas relays. It was the probably one of the biggest competitions of the outdoor season. Went up against Trey Allen, Sean Miller, and I believe another guy too. But it was one of the biggest comps of the year. Also Javon Harrison was there, the pro. Went up against them, and I ended up placing third place. I was the second best collegiate at the competition. Javon won it with a 7.7 3/4 jump, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I went out there and jumped 220. After I cleared 220, 7.2 and a half, moved the bar right up to 7.5 just to go for a new PR because it went from 7.2 and a half, then it was going to go to 7.3 3/4, then it was going to go to 226, 7.5. So instead of jumping 223, 7.3 3/4, I had already jumped 224 to FSU the week before at 7.4 and a quarter. So instead of going to that 223 bar, I went to 226 just to go for a new PR and just to get some looks at the bar instead of getting out at 23. But it's always good to go incrementally. But that was just something that me and my coach decided we were going to do. We decided before the comp, if we clear 7.2 and a half, we're going to 7.5. That's what we decided, and that's what we did. Ended up finishing third. And it was a great atmosphere, great competition. Texas Relays was so cool because there was so many high school athletes out there, and they were showing me so much love. They wanted advice, they wanted pictures, and it was just a cool thing just being out there with everybody, you know. And I'm about to look at my schedule now just to make sure I'm staying on track with the meets that I'm talking about. So after Texas Relays, I'm pretty sure that is when I took my break. So after Texas Relays, yep, I took a week. I took like 2 weeks off. We had like a bye week, and I ended up coming back at the Crimson Tide Invitational. So I ended up jumping 7 feet and a quarter there. And after I cleared 7 feet and a quarter, I moved the bar up to 7.2 and a half, 220, because I had won the competition. I was the only jumper left. So we didn't really see any reason to play around at 7.1 and like 7.1 3/4. Like we didn't see a reason to play around there. Just clear 214-ish, 215-ish, go 220-ish, and just keep jumping, you know. So that's what we did. I had a solid competition. I wasn't really feeling the best out there, and there was also a bush in the way of where I was supposed to be approaching it. It was just a bush in the way, so I couldn't run my full approach. I had to shorten it and just kind of wing it. But moving forward, we went to Penn Relays on April 27th, and atmosphere was crazy. I was so excited about this competition because I had never been to Penn Relays, but I had heard about it and heard about it. Everybody always talking about the meet. So I finally got to go to the comp, and when I tell you, it was so many people out there. Like, I didn't even know that many people could be at a track meet. It was so many people. It was a slight chilly out there too, but it was packed, man. Once again, a lot of fans were out there. Like, I was so surprised to see the amount of support that I had from Philadelphia people. Like, I'm out there signing autographs and taking pictures, all kind of stuff. Like, it was the craziest thing. My coach was getting mad. He said, you need to warm up. I'm like, I'm about to, coach. I just wasn't trying to be mean to the kids out there and stuff. And but yeah, I ended up getting my warm up in, and I had a really good time just out there, just meeting everybody and just kind of enjoying the atmosphere. Competition wise, I ended up finishing third to Romaine Beckford, two-time NCAA champ this year, and Sean Miller, All American, ended up finishing second. Was finishing third to those two guys, and it was a really great atmosphere. Ended up jumping 218, 7-1 and three quarters, and also I got some good. Did I go? Yeah, I got some good looks at 7-3, but it just wasn't. Did I jump? Let me just check on that. Oh no, I ended up jumping 215, 7 feet and a half, and I got some good looks at 218, 7-1 and three quarters. I was jumping extremely far out from the bar, and I just wasn't quite getting it done. I needed to scoot up a little bit, but I was changing my approach up, and different things was happening. It just didn't go my way, but it was still a great experience. And then moving on to SEC championships, I ended up clearing 7-1 and three quarters and finishing second for the fourth time in my career, which made me a four-time SEC silver medalist and four-time SEC second team member, all SEC second team. And I finished second to Roberto Vilches. I led that competition the entire way. I had no misses. And then when I got to 7-3, Roberto went before me. He cleared on his first attempt, and I was pressed. I got to clear this thing. I was excited. I was pumped up. Had my family in the building. I had the clap going. I had it going, but didn't quite get it. I was rushed. I kind of rushed into my technique, rushed out of my technique, and my butt ended up hitting the bar, knocking it down. I was like, I kind of panicked a little bit, and I knew that since I had so much energy and so much bounce that day, I said, I want to go to 7-4. So just to go for the win. I couldn't win no longer at 7-3. I could have given myself 3 attempts at 7-4 had I cleared 7-3, but I only had 2 attempts at 7-4. So first attempt at 7-4, beautiful attempt. Just didn't quite take it up long enough and knocked it out of my butt. Okay, I was that close to getting this ball. I'm gonna get it on this next one. Tried too hard, over rotated on my foot, twisted my ankle, and I extended my knee because my foot was over rotated. It caused my knee to shift outward when I jumped, and it um it caused some inflammation on my ligament, and I kind of limped off the mat from that point, and I was done jumping, and I ended up taking second place, and that was a big thing because that would kind of influence the rest of my season. The fact that I pressed so hard at SEC championship, that would affect me at regionals and on to NCAA's. But I was still excited. I was still happy about my performance and everything. I was so close to finally getting gold, but I could move forward with my head high because I knew I gave it everything I had. And next up, we had regionals. Went to Jacksonville, Florida, which was a competition venue that I had been to like twice before that. Had never qualified for NCAA's. This will be my second time trying to getting through to outdoors if I made it here. So we went to Jacksonville, and it was rainy out, and I hadn't really practiced much because my knee was sore from the SEC jump. So I couldn't really jump. I didn't feel comfortable doing it. So I kind of didn't really practice or do any jumps truly until, honestly, the day of the competition was when I really got to jumping. Everything else was mostly just takeoffs. So we put a little sleeve on my leg, and then we went to competing. First 2 jumps of the comp came in at 6-6 and 3 quarters. Missed my first 2 bars, and I limped off the mat both times. It's like I really had to find something deep within me to really come through and clutch through on that performance. 6'6" missed both times, 6'8" missed once, 6'10" I think I missed. I got it on the first attempt. Then 7 feet and a half or so, or 7 feet and a quarter. It took me 3 tries to get it, all the way to my last time. I smiled through the whole thing. I had the clap going. My girlfriend drove down, and her sister and sister's boyfriend was there, so it was cool. Like I just fought through it, no matter how hard, no matter how much my leg was hurting me or how I felt. And after that, I sat on the bench and I cried, and I went to go get my ticket, the big ticket they had out there for NCAA's that you could have for pictures and stuff. I went to go get it and I just danced and I was so happy, man. It was a beautiful thing, and that set me up for my next comp. NCAA championships will be in 2 weeks. I was really excited for it because I was like, okay, I just jumped this height feeling like this. I'm expecting to be even better at NCAA's over the next 2 weeks of getting to heal up and getting to get right. So NCAA's came around. I felt good, but I didn't feel like 100%. But going into the comp, I didn't want to let that stop me. I ended up coming in at 206.69. Then the bar went up to 611. I told my coach I wanted to skip it, and because I didn't know how my knee was feeling. Um, and he eventually agreed to it, and we ended up going to 216.71. And I was hoping to get it on my first try to really put me in position to be first team All-American for 100% chance. And then I ended up missing on my first attempt and clearing it on my second attempt, and that pushed me down the leaderboard later on in the competition. Uh, that was the last bar I cleared. After that, the bar went up to 221.73. Got two, got one solid look at it. Honestly, no, really two solid looks at it, and just didn't quite get it. My legs weren't quite under me anymore. I felt a little bit dehydrated. I didn't hydrate as much as I should have, and I still gave it all I had in the end, but it just wasn't enough on that day. The bars were just wobbling and falling off. It did it for me at 7-1. It just wobbled off and fell on the first attempt. One of my 7-3 attempts, it just wobbled off barely. It was like it just wasn't going my way that day. It just wasn't my day, and I can live with that. It hurt, but that was the end of my collegiate experience with Auburn on. But moving forward, I still had one more opportunity to compete in the Auburn uniform at the USA Championships. I ended up placing sixth place. Went out to Eugene, Oregon for about a week. Opening bar was 7-1, 2.16 meters, and ended up clearing on my first try. Bar went up to 7-3. Took me 3 attempts to clear it. Ended up pushing me down to sixth place. Had I got it on first attempt, I would have been third place. Had I got it on second attempt, I would have been tied for third or something like that. But I got it on my third attempt. Ended up making me sixth place. Still ended up getting a medal for that competition, which was cool to still get a medal, even though I didn't finish in the top three. I definitely want to do better next time, but that did set me up to potentially be able to make a USA team. Only the top six are really chosen for potential selection for the different USA teams throughout the year, whether that's World Championships, if you have the standard or the world ranking, NACAC teams or Pan American teams, and so on. So I ended up ending my season on a good note, got back to 220, 221, jumped 7-3. So in an Auburn jersey for the last time, it felt great. It was a great feeling, and it was a testimony for me of not giving up and continue to fight through no matter what happened to me. Even when I hurt my leg at SEC, still able to qualify through regionals at NCAA's, still able to go out to NCAA's, this close to becoming first team All American, didn't quite get it. Still finished my outdoor season with a silver medal, second team All American, went to USA's, finished in the top six, and got a medal and received the potential selection for a USA team later on in the year. And I know I'm talking fast, but that was my outdoor season, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. Really wanted to get through that and let y'all know everything that happened, everything that was going on with me. Make sure y'all stay tuned for future videos. We'll be posting a lot more on YouTube now. As y'all can see, I pretty much just back-to-back y'all with both of these season recaps, and we got much more coming, much more interactive content on the way. Y'all make sure to follow me on Instagram, almost to 100K. Follow me at Dontavious Hill. And yeah, we out of there. Appreciate y'all.